whenever we have disruptions on the grid, vandalism, you've seen we have cases of vandalism, we have cases of floating islands. Whenever we have such issues, Nankabirwa is the go-to plant and has supported, for the last years, continues to support the system, make sure that we don't have total blackouts in Kampala and the surrounding areas, and also for Blackstart. Yes. Yes, in terms of energy mix, Nankabirwa is key. The Ministry of Energy also has a plan to ensure that we expand even on gas, so that we have more, even generation from gas. Because as of now, the biggest generation is from River Nile. Even all the other plants that we've talked about, Ayago and Kiba, they're all in River Nile. So if you ever have a drought, then you're in trouble. So it's important to diversify, have more solar, and have more geothermal and gas generation. That is part of the National Government Plan.
Just wanted to add information on Nankabirwa Chair. Nankabirwa currently uses HFO, heavy fuel oil, and the future is hostile to this kind of fuel. So we are now discussing converting it to use natural gas, but that is not for this budget. But just for your information, feel bad using HFO, much as it is a security plant, but 50 megawatts consume a lot of HFO, and we have to take care of the environment.
Which was giving interesting figures as Engineer George was speaking. In his the table on page 81, when they talked about the projected energy cells and capacity charges, and when you look at Nankabirwa vis-a-vis Nankabirwa, and you see that the Nankabirwa is a little bit much higher than it is in the case of is it here? No, it's when you check the capacities, and Nankabirwa gets us 347.3 megawatts, and then Nankabirwa gives us 42. But when you go into the aspect of revenue, the other ones are giving us much less, and then these ones with a 48.9. So definitely a concern about Nankabirwa is a very valid one.
Just a standby. Yeah. We don't continuously generate. Yes.
No, but Honorable Samba, you fought with the minister over that Nankabirwa enough in the 10th Parliament. So we finished that way in the 10th Parliament. So you should go back to work.
I won, yes, together with you.
Okay, Honorable Chair, before I invite the CEO UETCL, in order to give a bit of context, allow us to speak to the Electromax issue, and then UETCL will pick on what they are doing with Electromax. As a background, in 2023, UETCL entered a power purchase agreement with Electromax for the 50 megawatt plant in Tororo. And similar to Nankabirwa, we took a policy decision to maintain these 50 megawatts as a security plant. So as part of that, the ministry further entered an implementation agreement with Electromax in 2023. And our commitments under the PPA require us to service through capacity charges certain allocations and funding to the company. So the question you posed to UEGCL on the reallocation that took place from Namamve to Electromax arose from the dire need for us to meet our contractual obligations. And Ministry of Finance, the PSST, we did raise a request for supplementary, but it was constrained. He guided that we reallocate in order for us to service that obligation. So I needed to give that background as UETCL comes to make their presentation.
Thank you. Madam PS, I always find it a challenge to understand, and you can help me understand, whether electricity generation is not profitable at all. Why am I asking that, Chair, is that we buy from Electromax through our company. Or UETCL buys power from Electromax. Why do we keep funding Electromax when they are selling power they generate?
So, Honorable Nsamba, you will recall how we ended up with some of these thermal power plants as at the time part of our energy mix when we had deficits in our generation. That's how we onboarded a number of thermal power plants. And today we are not operating them on a daily. They are security plants. We only keep them for when there is a deficit in our generation capacity. So, and in terms of what we've done with this particular arrangement, we will phase them out at some point. For Namamve, you already highlighted, we'll convert it from heavy fuel oil to gas. And then for Electromax, we'll probably take a similar direction because we entered a build, own, operate, and transfer. So they'll be transferring that, and they will probably assign UEGCL to take on that obligation, and we convert it one day. So those came in at that time as part of government's plan to meet the deficit that we had in generation. But otherwise, the generation business is a very viable business.
But Electromax is not. Why is Electromax not viable? Because you're keeping these generators. I remember the time when we had so many power outages, and I remember Electromax came as a private investor who came in to provide a solution. But every time we spend money on generators that produce, how much megawatts does it contribute on the national grid? Not even 50 megawatts. But we continue investing a lot of money in generators which are doing nothing at the moment. Otherwise, where I desired that it would make a lot of sense is if these generators can generate power sold to UETCL and they make money. Because then they will make sense to the public.
Okay.
Yes.
So that we can be on the same level. Matters concerning security, when do you prepare? Do you wait for the enemy to attack? Then you buy equipment, you buy guns, or you invest money and buy the equipment to be on standby, to wait at that unfortunate time when you are attacked. These security plans, energy security plans, are costly. And for a private person to really invest money expecting to get some profit, it may not arise. A plant which stands there waiting for a call when, for example, a weed has attacked Karuma, and so one unit is switched off, or 2 units are switched off, you have to call on this standby plant. But you have to be maintaining it so that when that time comes and you are calling on it, it can serve you. So you have to plan for money to invest in servicing and also payment of staff who are there servicing these plants. So I don't know at what time shall we completely abandon this seemingly not profitable business. But if you put value on the rescue these plants really do, the business might be profitable. You've been rescued, you've been restored, production or generation, because this standby plant has come in. So it pains, but to be safe, your stores must have what to secure you at that point of need.
Mr. Chairman, allow me.
Honorable Samba.
Allow me, Honorable Minister, that story was very convincing. You remember at a time when you had no Karuma? It was a very good story. When we had these mini hydropower stations, it was a very good story. But now that we are paying a lot of money in deemed energy, I doubt whether it still makes an appeal. You remember how you came to us and you convinced this parliament that we need to buy this Electromax. We need to invest in it because of ABCD. But now, I keep asking myself, if the generators are lying non-productive,
I think, Madam PS. Oh, okay, you finish. Because you were saying that there is deemed energy, so I would need to get it clear.
Chair, these generators would have made a lot of sense if they are contributing to the national grid. But they are lying non-productive. Meanwhile, we are investing a lot of money every financial year in maintaining them. Why don't they contribute to the national grid? And then we know that probably they are there making contribution.
Okay,
otherwise, if they are very expensive, it means we may not need them.
Okay, Madam PS, can we have a response to that? So that maybe in terms of the costs, so that we get to understand the very expensive Honorable Samba is speaking about. But also from the perspective of vandalism. If you drive from Karuma to Atiak, Anaka, between the bridge at the corner there, Ayago Bridge, to Agum, right now you will find about 4 or 5 towers vandalized. Now, if that vandalism cut off that area, I think a situation of those generators would suffice. But at what cost? I think it will be important for us to understand the cost so that we know if we are, yes.
Honorable Chair, we can give the costs, but it's important to note that these generators are running on heavy fuel oil and wouldn't want to keep running that on a daily, given the cost of running that kind of fuel. So that's why we call on them when there is a deficit from the cheaper options that are on the grid. So we are happy to provide any details in terms of the figures, but that is the issue. Ensure the energy security, call on them when there is a deficit. Okay, so we'll provide the figures to satisfy Honorable Samba. Oh, and the country.
Okay, please provide those figures for the committee for further scrutiny. Can we proceed?
So we'll invite Engineer Matsko. to quickly take us through the UETCL segment. And you can now skip the electromax.
Thank you, Chair, honorable members. I quickly run through the UTCL submission in line with what the committee requested. On the first one, it was about the length and configuration of the high voltage grid which we operate. Page 5.
Just CEO for guidance. For guidance, you'll work with the report that we submitted to the committee on page 89.
Page 89. That is where our submission is on the length of the transmission grid we are operating, standing at 5,295 kilometers. Total number of substations are now at 43, with a transformation capacity standing at 7,170 MVA. Next financial year, the addition to this, we expect to add 262 kilometers of network or transmission line at a 220 kV transmission level. This is specifically to enhance exports or imports to Kenya, as the case may apply. The revenue, UTCL revenue, we derive it from the bulk supply tariff, and ordinarily, the revenue we project is adequate to really pay off the generators and also meet our operational costs. In the next financial year, 26-27, we project a revenue of approximately 2 trillion shillings. Of this, 90% of it will go to pay generators, while the 10% covers our operational and maintenance costs. Chair and members, it's important to note that the current tariff structure does not provide for recovery of capital investment costs. Transmission infrastructure expansion and grid reinforcement are therefore financed separately through Government of Uganda counterpart funding and support from development partners. On which major projects we are implementing, quite which are ongoing. This is Karuma to Tororo, 400 kV. We have the Kampala Metropolitan Transmission Network, the Industrial Park Transmission Infrastructure, and then we have regional interconnectors, Tanzania, DRC, and South Sudan. Ongoing projects, as I mentioned, we have the Kampala Metropolitan. Details are in that table on page 91. The Kampala Park, we have a substation we are putting up, and progress stands at 75%. Sukuru in the east, progress is at 95%. And the electrification of the industrial parks, category 1 consists of 3 proposed, which are Kapeka, Mbale, and Sukuru parks. These are substations, and works 3 unencumbered UTCL substation sites will commence immediately. As per the EPC contract, the contractor shall be expected to complete lots 1, 2, and 3 within the 18 months, and these consist of transformers rated 3 MVA at Kapeka Industrial Park, 3 transformers MVA, Mbale Industrial Park, and 3 transformers, 8 MVA maximum at Sukuru. The Category 2 projects proposed. The projects consist of 4 proposed substations and 2 proposed transmission lines as per the EPC contract. The contractor is expected to deliver Category 2 projects within 36 months immediately for projects under Category 1 and acquisition of associated land. Category 2. Lot 4, we have Woblenzi. We have 2 transformers, 250 MVA. We have also 2 at 80 MVA. These are 220. The 250 are 400, 220 to 33. Lot 5, Kapeka Industrial Park. We have 2 transformers, 122, 125 MVA, 200, 132, 33 voltage ratio. Lot 6, Nakasongola Industrial Park, 40 MVA, Lot 6, MVA, 2 transformers, Kaweweta. Lot 8, approximately 33 kilometers of 220 kV double circuit from Woblenzi to Kapeka. And Lot 9, approximately 123 kilometers of 132 kV double circuit, Nakasongola to Kaweweta and through to Kapeka. Karuma Tororo, and construction of this is yet to begin, but we are now in the compensation phase. The 400 kV double circuit transmission line spanning approximately 347 kilometers between Karuma and Tororo. A 220 kV double circuit loop-in, loop-out transmission line, Tororo Lesos to Tororo border substation, spanning approximately 400 meters. And the 132 kV double circuit loop-in, loop-out transmission line from Namambe, Kampala North, transmission line to Tinda, spanning approximately substations at Tororo with the 400/220 kV Tororo border, and then the 132/33 in Tinda substation. And also expansion of the existing 400 to 132 Karuma substation to accommodate the new transmission infrastructure. Members, we also have the Uganda-Tanzania interconnection project. We shall have under this, we have 92 kilometers of 400 kV double circuit from New Masaka substation to Mutukula. We have 165 kilometers of 400 kV double circuit from Woblenzi to Masaka new substation. And the total distance on the Ugandan side is 257 kilometers. For substations under the same project, construction of the 400/220 at Masaka substation, extension of the proposed 400 kV substation Woblenzi with the 2 400 kV line base to Masaka. We have Uganda South Sudan at 400 kV, and we have 149 kilometers from Orio to Bibia, Elegu border, power transmission with a fiber optic, extension of Karuma substation to accommodate the 2 circuits, the double circuit we are talking about, and also upgrade of Orio substation to accommodate the line from Karuma and then outgoing to Bibia. Also construct the new 400/132/33 substation across the border with South Sudan. Chairman members, we have ongoing projects to upgrade or enhance capacity around Kampala Mutunde substation. This is ongoing, progress 14%. Upgrade 132 kV 11 transformers. They are being upgraded to 40 MVA. two 132 kV transformer base and two 11 kV transformer base. Also 10 on 11 kV feeders are expected to be incorporated or upgraded. 6 33 kV base, including their control, protection and civil works. At Kawanda, upgrade of the substation, that's the 132 kV 33, with the two transformers, each 8 MVA, 132/33 transformers. Masakambarara, we proposed to construct 135 kilometers of transmission line, 400 kV, initially to be operated at 220. This project is just pending signature of the EPC contractor. The consultant is already on board. On issue number 4, concerning main land acquisition, UTCL continues to implement land acquisition and right of way, but the challenge here, Chair and members, is the gap we sometimes experience on counterpart funding, delays to receive counterpart funding from government, sometimes delay these projects, and at times we incur costs from contractors due to idling claims and the rest. So the main issue here would be really the slow release or delayed release of counterpart funding. Fundraising, we are using a multi-pronged approach, including working with government security agencies. We are also replacing some of the easily vandalized towers with the more robust ones in areas that are vulnerable, and we continue to engage with all security agencies to combat this vice. However, we also try to stock adequate number of spares to continue replacing the vandalized parts. Impact, of course, it goes without saying. The cost weighs heavy on us as UTCL, but of course the impact cascades down. For instance, the incident in Mukono, waterworks couldn't pump water and several factories were off for more than a week. On the issue on what we are doing about maintaining high reliability and availability of the system, Chair and members, the intervention areas are on page 100, and we are upgrading those substations as listed. We also optimize transformer deployment. We continue doing routine maintenance work. Also do asset rehabilitation, specifically on vandalized towers. Issue number 7, on how we are doing with the regional interconnectors. 101, page 101. At the bottom we have a table that shows you on average export on each line. Kenya stands at 70 megawatts. Tanzania average 43, Rwanda 80 megawatts. DRC is a small one. As you realize, the voltage is low.